Hello, hello, it's Musa once again. This time with a different type of event though. I took part in the RC Super Qualifier as it was free, as I never play big events unless they are free because I have points or anything like that. It was a big event. I wanted to test myself after a long time, and I wanted to test in the sideboard also my Crystal Barricade to see if it's actually worth the place or not. I can't say the event went very well. I'm not very happy with the result, but I do believe that I made some mistakes at some points that could have been detrimental to the outcome of the matchups. After some time, I also was very tired, but I continued playing because I didn't want to finish it with a very, very poor record. I'm not just here only on the good days. I want to show you how I performed and how the deck can perform, and anyone can perform poorly. And I would love to tell me what you think I have done wrong in some occasions. I definitely know some of the mistakes that I made, and I'm going to mention them as I'm going through this video. So without any further ado, let's get started. Round number 1, we were playing first. I was also very stressed to play this event for some reason. I keep this hand, it's a very good hand. I have a turn 3 kill and have endurance in case it's needed for an interaction. And guess what? It's needed. It seems we're playing against Living End. And what a perfect timing, right? Just after I wrote my article and my video about Living End, this was the first matchup I faced. At least I was feeling way more confident now how it was going to go. So right now I don't have much to do. You see how we are progressing. The cards that I am actually afraid of are, as always, Subtlety. I've seen once already. I'm afraid of Force of Negation for my Chord of Calling. And rather than that, you can just Living End, and that's it. And as we have here, Shardless Agent, they're gonna cascade. This time I'm smart enough in order to check what they have in their, what they, cascaded in. I don't see anything white. But actually I saw here a Hallowed Fountain. But when I was actually sideboarding, I didn't see it. Did you miss the interactions the way I did them? First I sacrificed my Devoted Druid. The opponent played their endurance to take away my Devoted Druid, and then I cast my endurance in order to clean their graveyard and put endurance back on the board. It's all about sequencing sometimes in this matchup. So I do see Hallowed Fountain. As I was very stressed, I didn't notice it I didn't notice that I had Hallowed Fountain. But you'll see how it will go for sideboarding. Right now they have 2 cards in hand. I can't really stay back. I will attack with my endurance. The 2 flash creatures they are playing, as we know, is Subtlety and their own endurance. If they play their own endurance, okay, whatever. If they play their Subtlety, so be it. They have nothing going on in their graveyard, neither do I. So right now I do have the upper hand, but this won't be for long. I have to finish the game fast. And actually that's what they're doing. They're actually cascading again to clean my graveyard. They bring back a Shardless Agent and I have just 2 mana dogs. This is also why I kept Safekeeper to cast it post attack. That was a very nice draw. Okay, you might think that, okay, she got lucky and she got the card she needed. Okay, eventually, you're running cards too, as they do. You have to draw either tutors, either a finisher, or a Ladammer in order to play the top of your deck. The deck isn't just 1-drops, they're just part of the deck. Here one for Azuri, because Azuri can finish the game, they're just on 7. There you go. I don't need to do anything. I'm gonna attack. Because if needed, Subtlety, they put a Subtlety on board. Not if needed. I have a Curion Ranger ability in order to untap. However they blocked, they were dead at this point. Because I have the more than lethal. And that's it for game number 1. I'm going to game number 2. If you want to see how I approach the matchup and how I sideboard, you can look at the previous video that I did. That was exactly about Living End. I will leave a link somewhere here in the video. That's the reason I also bought Skyclave Apparition. So So first my Vexing Bubble goes bye-bye. I guess they didn't want that, which means that they do have Cascade spells. Evoke, Wistfulness. So, as my hand, the plan that it has is actually to kill the opponent in a long matchup. I don't have a very aggressive hand as it is. Here, I have to be very careful. I don't see any white hit. The Drunk Magister was a great draw. 2, we're doing our magic. The previous turn I preferred to cast Priest of Titania instead of the Cauldron because I had to progress my game. And because they didn't go off, this time we were fine. And here's a lady, but it's not a lady, it's a dragon. Anyway, so I chose to put the counter on Warmaster because this way Warmaster can always attack and it can deal damage. They wouldn't block the Warmaster. Just not to get 3 damage in. Skyclave Apparition that I had it in hand from the opening hand, it was great. Another Clarion Conqueror. What did I tell you in the previous video? They keep a hand just for Clarion Conqueror. But we came prepared. Not only we came prepared for the things we have on the board, because we have a War Master, we have a Skyclave Apparition that took the first Clarion Conqueror. I don't have any way of removing the second Clarion Conqueror, by the way, because I didn't bring in my paths, or did I? Actually, I did bring in them. I did go full in. Sorry for that. I thought I didn't. It's been days since the event that I'm actually recording this. Here I'm not staying back. Instead, I played my Endurance because they're on 6, and no matter what they did, I had little damage. Or they were going to 1, which means that Clarion Conqueror was out of the way, and I do have here a Drynth Magistrate to seal the deal. That's it. Let's go to game number 2. Game number 2 against unknown opponent. The first hand was very slow, so we're keeping this, which has Curion Ranger with Priest of Titania, which, as I've said, is a combo in my head, and a Court of Calling to be looking for the finisher. 2 red, I'm never happy. Now I was actually very happy to see it. But wasn't this an insane hand of the opponent? Sometimes you just cannot do anything. I think what it really mattered is that they played first. In this, it was a race. Affinitiy is actually going to be my next article that I'm going to write. If we were playing first this matchup, it was over. Yes, we're playing Magic. It's not chess, so nothing is very live. Nothing is very Magic. I'm going to attack here, hoping they might use their munitions token, glow with the munitions token to kill something, but they didn't. They only have 1 card in hand. My only hope at this point is to actually produce, to have enough creatures on the board for them not to be able to kill them. But it's pretty much impossible. In big events, I'm not giving up that easily, even though death is imminent at this point. Not only because they might mess up, but also I want to see what they're actually playing. So here I'm trying to pass the turn, so that in their turn, I will cast a Court of Calling for 2, sorry. Maybe, who knows? They are forgetful. And I can actually go and get my Devoted Druid. I hope that from the top of the deck I will do something. I don't know. I didn't give up. But they tapped my Curion Ranger, and that was lethal. Here, for example, if I had 1 more land, I would be okay because I would be untapping the Curion Ranger. The opponent played it very well at this point with the skateboard tapping my creature, because whatever I got from my Court of Calling I had to block with because it was little damage. That's it for game number 1, and let's go to game number 2. Game number 2 against Affinitiy. The sideboard, no. The only other thing I could have brought was Crystal Barricade, which I did not. Now, what was this hand that I kept? At this point, my mental health, let's say, I wasn't very happy, and this was showing in the way I was playing. Because I lost the game, game number 1, so hands down in my eyes. This that was detrimental for my whole game plan, how I was doing everything. But the opponent didn't need to do anything. They had a good hand again, game 2. So this way Affinitiy is tier 1, and why it is considered to be the the best deck in the format. Could I have kept a better hand? Yes. Would I be able to beat this opening too? I don't know. Only if I kept a hand with Force of Vigor as well as Collector Oof, hoping that the opponent has nothing else in hand, no Galvanic Blast, Discharge, Blast it is, yeah, no Whip Flares or anything. But definitely, this wasn't the hand I should have kept. At this point, my morale is dropping dramatically, but I will keep on playing, because this is what I signed for. They had an exceptional opening. And that Vexing Bowl here, even though it seems that it does nothing, it's actually keeping them on check. They just had the other way of comboing, which is an Akbar Ravager. Here, I need a rhythm for 2, and I went for Collector Oof. I collect a Oof that I believe won't stay alive for long, but still had to try. See the openings they have? Amazing. So they just bounced back, Collector Oof, and it was game over. I couldn't do anything. They had a great hand. Congratulations to the opponent. But I do believe that I could have played the matchup better. Let's go to the next one. Round number 3. At this point, I didn't want to play them anymore. Why did I keep this? What I have told you in the live, and when you're playing the deck, never keep hands without a payoff. I was not in a good spot. This stays on top though. It was a great draw. So turn 2, I'm gonna play my Devoted Druid, and if I'm lucky, I'm gonna combo them next turn. Stomping around. Unholy Heat. Red matchup. At least we have enough dogs. This is Broodscale. It's a matchup actually that has come back to being relevant after the change of the format and the not lack of energy. Energy is back. Energy is very strong. I don't believe energy is done. And as I said, they're staying in the Boros shell. They are more aggressive with the Boros shell. They have a very aggressive plan, and they're starting to win again challenges. This was a turn 3 opening that I couldn't do anything about. Do you see what's happening? That was another God hand. As we have God hands, opponents have God hands, but I cannot do anything about it. It's not like they played anything crazy. They just interrupted my turn 2 Devoted Druid and was over after that. And because they had double Flesh Raker together with Ballista and the Blade, they were killing whatever I had on board. I couldn't stop that. So we're going to game number 2. Game number 2, this time I'm bringing in also my wall, Crystal Barricade, because it's great in this matchup with all the removal they have, plus Ballista. I'm keeping a very slow hand though. I don't know why I kept this hand. I'm pretty sure I could have done better. Here it was 2 options. They had red up. Either you go for the Devoted Druid, or you go for the Oof to stop them. I decided to be aggressive. Do you see the mistake? I thought actually of going for the wall. It was actually a debate I had here. Should I go for the Oof? Which I could protect? Should I go for the wall? Because it was obvious they had a Pyroclasm. It's one of the rare occasions I don't read my opponents very well. And should I go for the combo? I just went for the combo. And that actually cost me. Now that Kethis Cauldron wasn't bad. It's just that I had nothing else to follow up with. The opponent chose to take the Broodscale. So in my eyes, it means that the end is near. There's my Oof. The unknown ball, Kethis Cauldron together with the Oof. Yes, they had a really good hand. Sometimes it can happen. Sometimes they can have a good hand. Sometimes we can have a good hand. I think that going for the aggressive game, I don't know if it was right after all. And here is where I concede, because they have the combo of the Flesh Raker, Broodscale together with the Blade. I wasn't prepared for that. And let's go to the next one. It's a bird sharing so far, isn't it? Oh well. So here we continue with the 4th round. This is a good hand. This is what we came for. We have Kirian Ranger, Priest of Titania is the other part of the combo, as I like to say. I fetch for the basic just because I want to be on the safe side, but you never know when you're going to get Black Moon or Flood Moon, as I say. I see an Undercity Sewers, white, and this can only mean that this is Goryo. They put back in hand a charismatic ending, which pretty much means that my Priest of Titania is probably dead. But I got very lucky, and I drew exactly what I needed to draw. They discarded Atraxa, which obviously means, and they do nothing. They thought it themselves. They discarded Atraxa. This can only mean one thing: they're gonna Glorious Vengeance Atraxa in my turn. That's why from nature I'm casting the Nature's Rhythm from the graveyard in order to put the Atraxa on the board, so I actually have the information what they're gonna keep in hand. I saw they choose a Cavero, whatever that thing is called, Coatless Shrine, and Force of Negation. The game is over for me because I have the best combo. I have Death Touch and Trample. Even Lifelink doesn't save them. Even a 7/7 Lifelink doesn't save them at this point. I just wanted to extract that information also before we went into game number 2. Fast and easy, we're 1-0 up. Let's go. Here we are after sideboarding. I didn't bring a Speculative Apparition for the fog this time. I treat this matchup very differently. I treat it as a hate-based deck. I keep in the combo, most of it. I don't think Eladamri is needed. And I approach it like that. Right now I have the perfect hand because I have a Devoted Druid and 2 Course of Coiling, which means that if I'm uninterrupted, I will go off. Obviously that Vexing Bubble was an awesome draw, and this is why I will be 1 turn off casting my Devoted Druid, because I give priority to the Vexing Bubble. It's very often that the opponents keep a hand just with Solitude and to interrupt my combo. And as we can see, that Vexing Bubble was an annoyance for them, and that's what they're doing. They're removing the Vexing Bubble. They have 5 cards in hand, and since I saw that they removed the Vexing Bubble, this is a red flag. They have either a Force of Negation or a Solitude. So what can I do here? Shall I go for the combo? Actually, I'm going for the combo. I have to get it out of the way, right? So I will go for a Code for 2. In response, if they have a Solitude, they're going to cast that Solitude, as they actually did by pitching an Atraxa. This can mean that either they have double Atraxa, or they have no other white cards. It's that they had Ephemerate plus Solitude, that's why they did like that. So, with my 2, I went and got a Sylvan Safekeeper, because they have an Ephemerate and they only had 2 cards in hand. 3 were drawing their turn. For me, this is a sign that if I can stabilize the board, I'm gonna be fine as long as I have lands. Here, I opted to go for the Priest of Titania instead of Devoted Druid, because Priest of Titania just needs right now an Azuri to be useful. Whereas and I get punished. Whereas Devoted Druid needed another thing or a Nature's Rhythm. That's the first mistake I made. I made a lot of mistakes this round. The reason for it is because I got bored waiting for the next round to start in the Super Qualifier. I actually queued in a league. The result of that was me losing actually both games, as you're gonna see. Because I misplayed in both games, I cannot multitask. Pest Control. I'm gonna Court of Coiling to get my Azuri. The opponent had a different opinion. They're gonna force it, so I lose my whole board. And they have a Solitude. I here, for example, had Nature Rhythm in the graveyard, which I'm gonna cast another Azuri. I'm gonna keep on top my Curion. I don't know why. I'm telling you, I was playing so poorly. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't need that Curion Ranger on top. What I need is finishers or hate bears at this point. And still I kept that Curion Ranger on top. I have 10 life, I'm fine. But always know, if you need, you can block with a Devoted Druid and you can kill the Devoted Druid. At this point I have to check what I have left in the deck. I know that one Azuri is out. Wrath of the Skies for 4. And this is when we're gonna get the other baby. It's not gonna save us, but at least we're gonna have a board. Sun Cleanser. Amazing card. So as you can see here, we're playing defense. We're not actually killing them. The game is not going in my favor. I have nothing going on. I have used lots of tutors and some of my finishers, and they've done nothing. I'm on 2. I'm very close to being dead. But the only agent I have right here going on is a Curion together with Priest of Titania. And I put in the graveyard the Heroic Intervention. I need to finish the game fast. The longer the game goes, the worse it is for me. Here, I decided not to path the Solitude, because the real threat is not Solitude. It's actually a Traxa or a Quantum Riddler at this point, because they are flyers and I can't do anything with them. There we go, another Azuri. I have 2 cards in hand. Otherworldly Gaze. They put the attacks in the graveyard. This is not good news once more. They had the last 2 cards were actually 2 Atraxas. I was very close to winning, even though through all my mistakes. I'm not waiting for them to draw cards with Atraxa, because if they draw another Force of Negation, I won't be able to do anything. So I kill the Atraxa with a trigger on the stack to draw cards. Let me close this again. There goes my second Azuri. I don't have Azuri anymore. My only finisher right now is actually War Master, or actually, controlling the game. It was a very, very, very long game. If you check also the time, my time and the opponent, you can see also that was playing very, very slow. That was a very weird spell snare, but sure, it was useful at this point for them. There you go. There I have 0 cards in hand, and I've actually managed to have a very, very nice clock and a very nice interaction. I have a I have a pretty big Sun Cleanser, and I do also have Formidable Speaker. That Solitude wasn't very good, and I know that there's another Solitude coming next turn. I drew the path at the right time. First I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna attack like that. And now my next way of beating them is actually through Formidable Speaker. I will let them target first, and then path. They failed to find a basic land. At this point, we are both at the very end of our decks. They only have 32 cards left. I have 30. So they have 1 card in hand. I should have attacked with everything at this point. They are 26 life. I think they have nothing. And here I believe that maybe I should have gone for the... Where is it? Have I taken it? They have used it. The Otherworldly Gaze. They have. And here's my engine. They kill also my Cauldron, which is making big chunky boys and girls. Another removal. This time I'm not staying back. I'm attacking even more. Now they have 2 cards in hand. That's not good news. Again, here we go. Hey, they're on 5. We're okay. But I'm down to 4 minutes. You see what's going on, right? I've been so late. I've been fooling around when I shouldn't have. Once again, I'm killing the Atraxa with a trigger on the stack. But unfortunately, they got this card here, which is Cavallero. And we see why I prefer playing a Paths of Exile rather than Erodes. Erode puts the card back in the graveyard, whereas Path, it's exiling them forever. That actually cost me the game. Now that you came here, you see nothing goes right here. But they're on 4. I couldn't do anything. I don't even know why I continued playing at this point. I think I could have taken made different decisions. Let me know what you think. But it was definitely a game. I really enjoyed playing this game. I'm pretty sure I could have won that. can't even... the only reason... I was thinking of casting my Sanctifier. I would actually go lower in life. And then they have 3 cards in their hand. The Frog would go for lethal because they had lots of white cards. I wouldn't be able to remove enough cards from the graveyard. And I decided to go for the last game, just with 2:55 left on my clock. Doesn't sound very promising, does it? Oh well, let's go and see what happened. 2:51 to beat them. 0 cards. This was a bad hand, but I couldn't mulligan anymore. I should have mulligan actually. The only way of beating them in 2 minutes and 30 seconds is actually the combo. I should have gone down to 5 cards. 4 cards, sorry. 5, yeah. So my only hope right now is actually to draw the Devoted Druid, play Seven Safekeeper, Devoted Druid, sacrifice it and go from there. But the opponent came well prepared. They had 12 minutes on the clock, whereas I had just 2. So what they just needed to do was play defense, and the game was theirs. Still, I'm not going down without a fight. The more I look at this game, the more pissed off I am about the way I played it. I should have just dropped the league and focused on what was important. But I was like, nah, I can't do it. I know the deck, I can play the deck with my eyes closed. I can do both. Spoiler alert, I can't. When you see him putting in Goryo's Vengeance in the graveyard, things are definitely not going well. So it's okay, I have 2 creatures, 2 1/1s. They're on 16 lives, 16 life, so I just need 8 turns, right? As I said, they need to do nothing, they just play defense. Now I have an Nature Rhythm in the graveyard, so my other only hope is actually to go and get an Azuri and try to finish them off next turn, 1 2 turns, but they have 5 cards. I'm pondering, could I have got anything different at that point? No, at least this was a right choice. The hunt I kept was a wrong choice, for definitely. Pest control. I'm just gonna regen my world. And the reason I actually sacrificed in land for Azuri is because for some reason I was sure they had Solitude. And they had an Amato right? Pretty much the same, right? Hey, good news, they're down to 2 cards. What can go wrong? Scrap that. Everything can go wrong. But it wasn't the opponent's fault. It was me. All me. I can't block at this point. It's fine. Oh, there you go. Solitude. Everything. With 1 minute and 4 seconds, I don't think many things can change right now. So I will speed up the rest of the game. I feel defeated at this point. But I kept pushing through. I was like, no, I'm going to keep on playing until the end. Next round. Feeling pretty defeated. I decided to keep this hound. It has a Devoted Druid, it has Spirit of the Eternity, it has Woolmaster, so we're okay. Now what are we facing this time? Black again. Thoughtseize. This is Dimir. So let's see what's going on. They tried to push and kill my Mystic. It was pretty obvious what they did. But decided not to do so. Still, I have nothing to do. The draw of the second Woolmaster was actually great, which means that I can go for a more aggressive hand, meaning creating a huge board. And how are we going to do that? We're going to cast the first Woolmaster. They don't counter it. We're going to cast the second Woolmaster. What do they have for us? A counter spell, sure. Do you have enough counters? What I'm going to give you? Let's see. Oh, from what I found the other day, the reason they're playing white is pest control, by the way. And the reason they're playing white for pest control is actually energy. Murktide. pretty unexpected, but it was still fine. And Psychic Fog, they have one card in hand. That was very nice. They tapped out. It's always good when the opponent taps out. Even though they have one card in hand, I choose to play my Vexing Bauble before I play my Heritage Druid. And obviously I'm not gonna stay back. I'm gonna play my Priest of Titania. And I'm not gonna do anything. So eventually I do have a board. Here, the mistake I made, I should have cut that Vexing Bauble before the Bowmasters landed. It actually means that right now I cannot do anything with my Vexing Bauble. Because if I crack it, Bowmaster is gonna ping like a crazy man. This is actually the reason also I cut off the deck champions. It was so bad against this card. If they're gonna attack, especially with the Bowmasters, I'm gonna block. I want that Bowmasters out of here. But still, I made a mistake. I should have grabbed this Vexing Bauble. Can I draw a card? Obviously not. It's a replay. But maybe it would have changed the game. Let's go to the next one. Game number 2 against Dimir Midrange. I didn't side them much. I did keep in though endurances because I saw Murktide. I just put in paths, heroes. And did I bring in Skyclave Operation? And not even Skyclave Operation. Let's see how much removal I have. Devoted. So, from what I have in hand, what's the most important thing to land? Agatha's Hollow One. So I will keep feeding the opponent my Devoted Druids in hope that they will actually let me do it. And they're going to let me do it. First of all, I'm going to cast this Eldrazi because they are played in a way that they made sure that I can cast it. And here, I will take the chances. It's about a choice at this point. I didn't take my chances of casting Gatha's Soul Cauldron. I really need that card to land. Right now, I landed the Devoted Druid. I represent lethal threat at any point of the game. So if the ball is on their side, to try to stop me. They cracked. When they crack, it only means one thing: fatal push. Again, they keep one blue mana up. There you go, we attack. This time I'm going to try to play the Cauldron, and I was lucky enough that they didn't do anything. And I put the Cauldron underneath my Devoted Druid because it won't be able to be, they won't be able to actually Bowmasters my Devoted Druid. If I put it on any other of my creatures, they could remove it easier. There you go, Bowmasters. I remove this card. I'm fine with that. At this point, I'm pretty much okay against Bowmasters. I have a way to protect myself. I kept the road that I got from the top of my deck. Sink to Stupor, which means that they don't really have much more removal. Here I'm going to do an aggressive untap, and I'm going to kill the Bowmasters. They only have one card in hand. I'm not cracking here because I know that I do have any road. Again, I'm going to cast a Devoted Druid. They're down to 3 cards. I have 2 removal for 2 threats of theirs. And I keep on attacking. Three, they're not doing anything, which means that either they have this subtlety, or they have counters, or they have removal. And here we go, we have the Nature's Rhythm on top. I'm not waiting. And I have the protection of Agatha's Soul Cauldron. If they try to kill my Devoted Druid with the Cauldron on the battlefield in response to my Nature's Rhythm for 2, I will put the Devoted Druid under the under the Curious Nature and go off from there. They have a Cling to Dust. I can't do much about it. What I can actually do though, remember, I do have an Eldrazi here. There you go. That's the deck. That's playing the deck to the limits. I use Eldrazi's ability with my 2 creatures, and I reveal the top card of my deck, which was actually Azuri, and was able to kill them. I didn't even need Nature's Rhythm at this point. I was happy. At this point, I felt a little bit better on how I was playing. I was like, okay, I can come back. I just wanted to play decently. I was disappointed in myself, how it played so far. Let's go to game number 3. Game number 3, don't ask me. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I do know. Against black decks, you don't want to mulligan a lot. I've said it many times, and that's what actually happened. I know that whatever I play at this point is probably going to get countered. I keep the Priest of Titania on top because it's another creature. So it's a matter of what I'm going to throw away first. I'm actually going to play the Devoted Druid because it means that their Bowmasters is going to be useless. So it narrowed down a little bit the threats and the things that they could do to me. There we go, I'm going to play the Modern Elf. And then I'm going to play the Priest of Titania. There you go, the Bowmasters that everyone expected. It's out of the way. It's always about who has the most, who has more cards. Right now they do have, because I do a lot of my 3-drops. But I'm not feeling bad at any point of this. Here I will aggressively cast my Endurance to take away their graveyard, because I only have 2 cards in hand, and this is going to make it definitely more difficult for them to give flying to the Psychic Frog. That Kyrian Ranger was actually a great draw too. Come on, Wizard, Cauldron. There you go. They countered it, they're down to 1 card. And we're here we go. Quantum Reading, this was nice. So they're drawing a lot of cards, so my plan to actually just block the frog doesn't go as I planned. And they bounce to hand my Endurance, which for me means that they probably don't have any other way of killing it. Eladarmi was a great draw. But at this point I do have to cast my Endurance in order to protect myself. There you go, Preordain. And they had the removal. And I'm thinking, how can I get out of this? I don't even have Skyclave Apparition from the sideboard. And they have a creature with flying. If I was playing a Skyclave Apparition at this point, I would be in a much better spot. But I played it wrong. I should have brought it in. It's here, see? That's what I was saying at that point. I'm trying not to over sideboard. I'm trying to present more threats than they can handle. Usually it works. But this cost me. That Nature's Rhythm will be a Nature's Rhythm for 3, and I would be fine. Anyway, let's continue with the losses. Have we lost enough game yet? No, we're gonna lose more. There's a hand that I would always keep. There's a hand I kept once more. And I think I still double queued at some point here. I'm getting easily bored. We have to do something in the life. I'm getting easily bored. There you go, the draw was a great draw. And I actually played Devoted Druid here. I'm not going to block anything they do. I won't even get a chance. Because they played Threaber Charm, turn 1, I thought that, okay, they didn't have much more removal. There you go, they're exiling cards, they're exiling my Priest of Titania. That was a great draw again. This time I have to land my Priest. That was unreal. So they actually had Threaben Charm, Galvanic Discharge, and they managed to cast 2 Ajanis because they're legendary to flip 1 and actually pretty much kill me. I'm getting annoyed at this point, but it's okay, that's magic, and sometimes we just have to take it. Let's go to the next one. So game number 2, I keep the hand only for the Sun Cleanser. I have to get my mind out of the gutter at this point. I really believe that it's also a mentality thing sometimes when you're losing. Here I'm going to land my Sun Cleanser because it's going to protect me against the don't select Pride. Many times, the only reason they are casting the Pride is because they have a bombardment in hand. And they kill me like that. But no, they had a 3-pin charm. And we're gonna code for 1. Actually, for 2. Why? Why? Do you see what I did? Why didn't I just code for 2 to get my Devoted Druid, untap, play Nature Rhythm, and kill them? That's the reason I don't play this card. The reason I'm not playing... Jesus Christ, I had the win. Oh, good Lord. Oh my God, that's the reason I didn't want to do this video. Oh, I'm getting pissed off at myself again. Oh my God, I had the win. So back to commenting. Oh my... Come on, Musa, you can do it. You promised yourself you're gonna go through this. Yeah, Nature Rhythm for 2 now. That's the reason I'm not playing Crystal Barricade. That's the frigging reason I'm not playing Crystal Barricade. Because it blinds my head. It blinds everything I'm thinking and doing. Yeah, now that you're gonna get your Devoted Druid, Musa, it's way too late. You had the bloody win. Oh my God. There you go, bombardment. Woo, fun times. I deserve that. Preactively, I'm killing my 1 land in order to protect my barricade, and then the opponent just decided to minus his Ajani, which I never noticed that it had reached 4, and I'm very pissed off. But I still have a Nature Rhythm in the graveyard. Whatever happens right now, I deserve it. The game was over ages ago, and I gave it away. Oh my God. Oh God. Sorry, you'll hear oh God a lot right now. Because a lot of things has happened. Why do you do that? Okay, the opponent is useless. It's not playing right too. But still, why did I even path that? Because they would be able to kill my Crystal Barricade? Yeah, right. So, when you're watching this video, remember how we played and try not to play it like that. That's what you have to take out from this, okay? After this, I stepped away from my computer. I went and I chatted with my husband. I pulled myself together and I came back. Round number 7. I even had to pour a glass of wine for myself right now because I can't deal with myself anymore. I'm very angry at myself. We're keeping this hand for very obvious reasons. We have a combo. We have a Kethis Combo, which provides us with the redundancy we need. And we keep going from there. I draw my second land, which is very good. If I didn't draw the land, I would play Curion Ranger. Here I'm going to play a bit more careful. I will still go for the kill. I'm not going to wait. I see the opponent is playing white and black, which means either they're playing Reanimator, I saw a Bowmasters, which means no, or they're playing a Blink deck. And that's what they're actually playing, and I see Ophelia, and I know what they're playing. So it's about what they targeted. What did they target? Obviously, they're going to target my Vizier, which means what? I'm going to click till the end of Mankind. The opponent targeted wrong. If they targeted anything else, I would be fine still, because I would be creating tons of mana with my Devoted Druid, cast my Coldor, my Azuri, my Priest of Titanium, and going from there. Still though, we just have to click a little bit to get the kill going. I will speed up the rest of the game and we're going to match number 2. Game number 2. Game number 2 against Esper Blink. We won game number 1 through comboing. And let's see what happens this time. This is a hand we keep. We're keeping a more aggressive hand. We have Path to Exile. What do we expect to see from there? Clarion Conqueror. So Path to Exile, in my head, the target for Path to Exile, for that is Clarion Conqueror or a Pitched Solitude with Ephemerate. That's something to always keep in mind. I have a formidable speaker. I don't want a formidable speaker at this point. It's way too heavy. That Nature's Rhythm was an amazing draw. So they're topping whatever they have in hand. And that land was an amazing draw. When they're topping whatever they have in hand, usually, in my head, it only means one thing. They have a type of removal for whatever I offer on the board. So here I have two choices. Choice number one, go for Devoted Druid, because I have a vision in hand, and go for the kill. I opted not to do that. I went for the Sun Cleanser because of the way they have fetched. They have fetched for lots of white, which in my head it means that they probably had the interaction. They had the Wrath of the Skies, which is one of the most common ways to losing to this deck. That Rakdos Hollow One was an amazing draw. First I'm going to cast a Priest. I'm not going to cast the Cauldron at this point, because I want to see how this goes. Another Overlord. I could have tapped my Priest of Titania to cast the Cauldron. I have no idea why I didn't. I consider this to be a mistake unless someone can correct me what I had in my head. Here I'm going to path one of the Overlords because we reached the point of the game that I have to do something. They put the Witch Enchanter back into their hand from the graveyard, I believe. Still, I'm going to stay up, back. There you go, another Sorcerer. I'm going to try to remove a creature. I'm going to add lots of mana while and they went for Kyrian Ranger. That was an odd choice, wasn't it? Still, I have an Nature Rhythm in the graveyard. Two Nature Rhythm actually in the graveyard. This is why Nature Rhythm is such an amazing card, because you can cast it twice. It's like having two tutors in your deck at the same point. I proactively take the Solitude away from the graveyard because they have an Overlord, which means that they're actually going to take it away from me. Obviously, because I'm playing like absolute crap, I forgot that they put back into the hand the Witch Enchanter. But it's okay, my Priest of Titania became a 2/2, which means that I wouldn't die to a Orcish Bowmaster, so it's not that bad after all. They thought it's my only Vizier out of the hand, and I'm like, okay, I can't combo anymore, I have to do something else. And look what I drew, my girl. And this is why we love Kyrian Ranger. Immediately, do you see how immediately the whole hand became a whole other hand? We have Nature's Rhythm in the graveyard, we have a Kyrian Ranger, we have Priest of Titania. It doubles up the mana. And we also have a Lush Portico, which I still hate you, in order to fix the top deck. Here they're on 10. They have 2 defense. I'm going for the kill. Five. I'm gonna abuse my Devoted Druid to pump once more using my Priest of Titania. And then I'm gonna leave them on 2. Quantum Riddler, they're still on 2. A Wrath of the Skies doesn't solve their problems. I shouldn't have left that Bowmaster's land before I untapped my creatures. That's another mistake I'm making. Because what did they do? Did they do it? Because they can just ephemerate the Bowmasters and kill whatever they want. It wasn't my day. But here we have the kill. And we're going for it. And that's it. We're back on the winning side of the game. Let's go to the 8th round. 8th round and an opponent we're playing second. That hand was absolute trash. It didn't have any synergy, didn't have any speed, so we are done with it. And I see a Tamiyo, Moxopo. This is the EZ... How do you call it? Is that weird? Oh, bravo. So, what do we see here in the graveyard? We see Kethis. So this is a combo deck. I know that after I see the Kethis, I know that they're playing Rona. I know what I'm playing around. This time, I know that my Oof is priceless. My Dranith from the sideboard is priceless. And pre-board, I have to kill them as fast as possible, otherwise I'm dead. It's pretty much like that. I decided to kill the Teferi because I don't want them to interact in my turn with sorcery speed spells. Here they're gonna attack. And we're gonna block. Another Emery. And if I untap, they're dead. They're tapped out. I untap. Vizier. We're going for the kill. And we're going to game number 2. Game number 2 against this weird Rona deck. Obviously, I bring in my Forces of Vigor. Obviously, I'm bringing in my Collector Oof. Dranith Magistrate is amazing against Emery. And I do have bring my Path to Exile in my Road, just as extra protection. Because some versions of this deck are very fast. Sorry for the sound being off for a bit. Still here they have 6 cards. Toxic Deluge. That was bad. It was unexpected too. But I couldn't really play around it. Side note, if in your local meta you have lots of Toxic Deluge, you might think about adding your Guardian of Faith in the sideboard, because in my opinion it's the only card that helps you against that card. Here I'm gonna go for 2. I'm gonna Dranith Magistrate just to stabilize the board. And it seems that I did the right thing because it stopped Kethis from doing anything from the graveyard. And at this point I'm treating this as let's say a Goryo's matchup, meaning I'm gonna try to protect that Dranith Magistrate until the end of Mankind. So when I go to a Sylvan Safekeeper, I have enough lands in order to be able to do that. Teferi, Emery, and I Path to Exile obviously before Teferi came on the board. Here I'm gonna take away both the creatures, both their artifacts. And here I'm gonna gain for the Lash Portico interaction of the deck. I don't really want that Elvish Mystic. But at least I'm very excited to see a deck that I haven't seen before. Riding Station. Okay, they can mill things. And for one of the few times in this challenge, I actually have more time than the opponent. I decided not to play anything else at the same point. And it's actually showing from the way that it goes. The fairy is up to 6, which means that if they have another Toxic Deluge, they can cast it even on instant speed. I'm not going to do anything yet. Patience is a virtue, and I do have to show it. But I'm going to protect my Devoted Druid, even though I didn't need it, because I didn't want the fairy to draw a card. Because in the minus ability of the fairy, the -3, if it fizzles, they don't draw a card. So here I'm going to kill whatever artifacts I see on the board. Because why not? And I have to do it on sorcery speed. And I will keep on grinding. I do really miss the grindy version of Elves. When we used to play all these grists and cauldrons and everything, and it was grindier. Unfortunately, it's not like that anymore. The meta is so fast and so combo that we cannot do it. A bounce back, a cauldron, because they realized that if they went for any of my creatures, I would be able to protect them and they wouldn't draw a card. Okay, Tamiyo is attacking for 0 in the end. Another problem and another that I'm keeping in mind is that if Tamiyo flips, she will be able to get Toxic Deluge from the graveyard, and this is something I don't really want. This is why I kept the path in the to the top, and I'm putting the Gatha Soul Cauldron back on the battlefield. And one of my first aims is actually to take the Toxic Deluge, both Toxic Deluges away from the graveyard. That's attacking. They have 29 cards left in their library. I reached the point that I was like actually thinking, can I actually mill them? And what if their last card is actually Thassa's Oracle? Then I'm gonna be doomed because they're gonna win just because of that. So as I said, Tamiyo, it has to go away. The Formidable Speaker, I do want it on the top of my library. They only have 2 cards in hand. I decided not to path in my turn because I don't want to give them the extra land and them to surveil if need. No, I couldn't surveil, but I didn't want to do it in my turn. I had no reason to do something at this point because if they find a way to remove my whole board and they get Arona, I will be dead. Another, now she triggers, and now I'm pathing. This also made them use their mana. This was actually the right play. I'm proud of myself. Here I'm going to take the Deluge, as I said, the second Deluge away. And here is where I mess up. I actually didn't play the Cavern of Souls. Because I was thinking, okay, they don't have any counters, do they? But they actually did have counters. But it's okay, now we have a flying token that I can attack together with my Dranith Magistrate. Here I'm going to block the Emery for a very specific reason. I thought that maybe they did have a third Deluge, and I didn't want to play against that. Kethis, you can't do anything. Endurance, that was actually a great draw too. I'm going to attack with my flyer. No, you're not going to turn back my hand. I have enough lands to protect it. And here this time I learned my lesson. I'm going to name Elemental with my Cavern of Souls. And they're attacking. I'm going to play my Elemental. I'm not going to target anything. I want them to have only 22 cards in their hand, in their deck. And that's what the point that the opponent conceded because they realized they're going to lose. And that's it. Let's go to the next round. Round number 9. So let's see what we have here. Why did I keep this hand? Because I think that the opponent will do nothing to my Priest of Titania. That was not a great keep. I'm just lucky that the opponent's playing a Eldrazi Tron probably, or Eldrazi Rams, one of the two. But seriously, why on earth did I keep it? 1, 2. They're gonna cause Lex Command. It's okay. At least my Priest of Titania is alive. I would really love a land there. What there you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we empty the hand. Milestone. Thankfully, the opponent had a very slow opening. Otherwise, we would be dead. That fixing ball in my hand is pretty useless, so cracking it is the only option. And here Eladamri is doing Eladamri things. I kept the priest on top because I have a heritage druid and I keep on casting the top of my deck. If I didn't have the heritage druid, I would actually think that if you're playing good and not like total crap like I did in this event, you would probably bottom it because you have 2 big creatures to be creatures, mana generators, which is a Priest of Titania as well as a Devoted Druid. So right now the opponent, even if he has another Kozilek's command, they don't really have a good option on what to do. And here I have double Devoted Druid. Oh, it's okay. Things got easier. Just drew the Vizier. And that's it. You know what's happening. I'm getting a 0 and finishing them. And we're going to game number 2. Game number 2 against Tron, Eldrazi Tron, it seems. We have the perfect hand. So what do we want now? Just the opponent not to interact with us. That's easy, right? It's not like we're playing Magic. Anyway. Turn number 1. I'm going to play my Windswept Heath just to have a Lush Portico. Good news, they didn't play an Eldrazi Temple, turn 2, which means that my Devoted Druid will probably land next turn. So they could only have a Dismember or a Whooping Whale in order to kill it. I have so many tutors in my hand that I don't need another thing. I need another creature at this point. Because even if they thought not seer me, they can't really do much, can they? But they went for a Kozilek's command and a Devoted Druid. And this is also the reason why I always keep one other Gatha Soul Cauldron in the deck. Because if they try to exile my Devoted Druid, I can put it in the graveyard and with the Cauldron use the effect. And continue, thought not seer. Which one of all the tutors do you want, my friend? Okay. And here, my plan in my head is I'm going to see what the opponent's going to do. And according to that, I'm going to react. Grafdigger's Cage. Nobody likes a Grafdigger's Cage. This changed my plan. If they didn't play Grafdigger's Cage, I could actually go and get Devoted Druid end of their turn, and in my turn have a Nature's Rhythm, and I could go from there. But because they cast the Grafdigger's Cage, I had to go for the secondary plan, which is actually kill them properly with a Priest of Titania, a Warmaster. And what did I tell you? We keep the Devoted Druid in the deck. And we keep the Cauldron in the deck. Because it's priceless to put it underneath, for example, even a Priest of Titania, because she can untap and tap again in order to go off. Ugin, sure. 3 mana. This Ugin is a destroyer for every creature deck. I lost this one, even though I thought I would have won, to be honest. And we're going to game number 3. Game number 3 against Tron. This is the hand we came for. We have a turn 3 kill. We have the fastest hand possible for the deck. And we go from there. You should always check what they exiled with Devourer of Destiny. Here they exile, what's that? Temple and lands, which means that they don't need any more lands. And by the turn 1 play, I would assume that turn 3 they would actually have a Tron. But there won't be a turn 3, so unless they have a Dismember, unless they have a Whooping Whale and try to kill my Devoted Druid, they're dead. Let's see. Nope, my Devoted Druid is alive, very much alive. And this is the reason we can beat them, even if they try to remove one of our creatures, we have another one. Here for some reason, and because I've reached the point that I've made so many mistakes today, I actually try to play even more carefully. And I deploy my whole hand on the board, and then I'm going for the Nature's Rhythm from the graveyard, just to be 100% sure that I haven't lost my mind and I missed something. But you know what's happening, Azure is coming on the board, and we're going for the last and final round of a very painful experience. Last round, can we salvage it? Can I finish without being completely destroyed and ashamed of what I did? The only good thing though is these playbacks, because they let me see what I did wrong. Because many times I just blame the deck. But then when I go back to the replay and I see what and how I played, I'm like, okay, what did you do here? This was not the right play. And that's one of the cases. So last round is against the Vengevine, as I keep calling it. Hollow One, you know, red, black, and that actually, there is no green, sorry. It's the black-red deck with a graveyard, with Detective Phoenix and stuff like that. I get the combo. They have 0 cards in hand. I have a Priest of Titania. Sorry, I have a Devoted Druid combo, I have a Cauldron, I have a Warmaster in the graveyard, and I can kill them. But I got lucky and I drew the Azuri from the top of the deck. If I didn't draw the Azuri, you see the Warmaster here, because I decided to burn an Inquiry, they put everything in the graveyard, I have a Cauldron, they are tapped out, they are very much dead in every way that I would actually, and in charm, however I wish. And that's it, we're going to game number 2. Game number 2, we're playing second. Against this matchup, the cards that I'm afraid the most is not the... It's nothing. It's just a Orcish Warmasters paired up with a Burning Inquiry. This is the worst thing that can happen to you. And this is actually one of the reasons I'm keeping in Sanctifier, because it's very good for this matchup, not for the Burning Inquiry or Orcish Warmaster combo. But because... it can take away their graveyard. They have a black-red deck, and the only way of removing it is actually a Force of Despair or Engineering Explosives. We're okay so far. I'm gonna cast. Here the sequencing was completely wrong. I didn't need to block that. I most definitely didn't need to block that. I could have pathed it to get it out of the way. Another mistake added to the pile of mistakes I made this league. Here, unfortunately, I have to use my Heroic Intervention just to protect my creature in my turn, which is not the way I would like to use it. So what I've achieved, I threw away Endurance, I threw away Heroic Intervention, and in the end I did have to use the path, but very late in the game without having a hand. So yeah, the captain keeps drawing. The deck drew amazing, and I failed miserably, and that's me to blame. You always check the graveyard if they have the Phoenix in order to give them flying. Here's the Force of Despair, and I'm dead. I lost this one too. They didn't win it. Sorry, opponent, I'm not trying to belittle you. It's just I'm trying to see if the deck is bad or I am bad. I'm bad. Let's go to the next one. Last round. We have to salvage this. I should not play as poorly. Or if you're not ready to play Magic, just don't play Magic, go for a walk. Burning Inquiry, many things go away, but the Fossil Figure stays in my hand. Burning Inquiry, I don't like this item. I hate this card for a very specific reason. It's random. It's like a roulette. It is not Magic. It's a very random card. You don't make any decision. It's just not random. Throw away 3 cards and you're done. And I don't like that. But and another reason I don't like it, but sometimes it's good for me. Look what they put in the graveyard. Do you see this little baby? And I'm not forgiving. This time I'm not making any mistakes. There you go. I have Force of Vigor to take away their Hollow One. I have an Agatha Soul Cauldron for a Resilience in my hand that I'm gonna cast next turn. And I do have a little baby here called Sanctifier that shuts down half, 3/4 of their deck. And now I'm pretty sure that I can do it. I have double Devoted Druid and Azuri. It's about how I'm going to deploy them. First, I'm going to play my Devoted Druids, obviously, because they shouldn't have Summoning Sickness. They can play whatever they want. Nothing stays in the graveyard anymore. Everything's getting exiled. Here you go, the Detective Phoenix that we don't like. There you go. Making them bigger. They have 3 cards in hand. But still, I'm okay. I'm going for the combo. I'm not taking any more risks this time. It's going to be a very slow combo. So, I would like to tell you thank you if you stayed until the end of this massacre, butchering, and I'm very sorry and ashamed for the way I played. Hopefully, if you are in the same position as I was, you will play a little bit better. I needed to do this video, as I kept saying through this whole recording, in order for me to find out what went wrong last Sunday. That's it. Thank you for watching. I'm here for the good and the bad days. I did want to post a bad day, but I wanted a good bad day, meaning I wanted to be really bad in order to post it. As always, please check the description box of the video. I leave some useful info there. You will find my free Patreon that I would really love you could just join. It's free. Please join. And I'm always available for discussion, anything you want. I will see you on the next one. I hope on the winning side. See ya.